Have you ever looked at someone you love and felt that quiet, nagging feeling in your chest that something is off? They smile at you, they say all the right words, but deep down, a tiny voice inside you is screaming, something isn't right here. Most of us ignore that voice. We tell ourselves it's probably nothing, I'm just overthinking. But what if that voice is the only thing standing between you and a lifetime of heartbreak? Today, I'm going to take you deeper than the Instagram quotes and the casual advice from friends. We're going to uncover the red flags in relationships that people ignore until it's too late. And I promise you, by the time you get to the end of this conversation, you will never look at love the same way again. So, what exactly is a red flag? Picture this. You're walking in a quiet forest. The air is fresh, birds are singing, and the sunlight is dancing through the leaves. But then, just a few steps ahead, you notice a small warning sign. Danger, do not proceed. That's what a red flag is in relationships. A small warning sign, a shift in tone, a strange reaction, a moment when something feels not quite right. The problem? In love, we rarely treat those signs seriously. We paint over them with excuses. Oh, they're just stressed. It's just how they are. Maybe it's me being sensitive. But here's the truth. Red flags are never random. They're indicators, clues. Sometimes they're the only clues you'll get before everything falls apart. 1. Lack of communication. You've had one of those days, the kind that leaves you drained, carrying invisible weight on your shoulders. All day you've been looking forward to coming home. You imagine walking through the door, seeing their smile, feeling that warm hug that says, "You're safe now." But instead, you step in and find them hunched over their phone. They don't look up. You start to speak. "Rough day today." Yeah, right," they mumble, eyes still glued to the screen. And just like that, your words dissolve into the air. Lack of communication isn't just about silence. It's about disconnection. It's when you speak but aren't truly heard, when you reach out but their mind is somewhere else, when conflict comes and they shut down instead of opening up. At first, it's small. You tell yourself they're tired, distracted, but slowly, it becomes the norm. Conversations fade into surface-level exchanges. Deep talks disappear, and before you know it, you're in the same house, but worlds apart. Silence is not peace. Silence is where resentment grows, quietly, like a vine wrapping around your heart. Love cannot survive in silence, because the moment you stop truly talking is the moment you start losing each other. 2. Disrespect for boundaries. This is a red flag that hides in plain sight. It rarely bursts through the door. It slips in quietly, disguised as affection or concern. It starts with small, almost harmless requests. "Why can't I just check your phone? Don't you trust me? Why didn't you tell me you were going out?" They show up at your workplace without warning, smiling like it's a sweet surprise. At first, you brush it off. It's just their way of showing they care, you tell yourself. But slowly, the pattern becomes clear. They push for things you're not ready for. Deeper physical intimacy, meeting your family, borrowing money. You say no, but it's as if the word doesn't exist. And here's the truth. Someone who ignores your boundaries today will not magically respect them tomorrow. In a healthy relationship, boundaries are not prison walls. They're like fences with gates. You choose when to open them, and both people respect that choice. But when someone keeps rattling the gate, forcing it open without your permission, they're not just crossing a line. They're telling you your comfort, your safety, your voice doesn't matter. And if they don't value your voice now, they won't value it when it matters most. 3. Controlling behavior. It almost always starts softly, wrapped in the language of care. "I don't think you should wear that dress. People will look at you. Why do you talk to that friend so much? I just don't trust them. I only want to know where you are all the time so I can keep you safe." At first, it sounds protective, maybe even flattering. You tell yourself they just love me, they just worry. But here's the thing. Control never comes dressed as control. It dresses as love, as concern, as looking out for you. Then it grows. They question your every outing. They discourage your friendships. They decide what you should wear, how you should act, who you should see. You start to feel the cage forming, but it's so gradual, you don't even notice the bars closing in. And one day, You realize the door is locked from the outside. Control is not about love. It's about ownership. It's about taking away your freedom and calling it care. A healthy partner will protect your independence, not strip it away. Because love wants to see you free. Control only wants to see you contained. 4. Gaslighting. This is one of the darkest red flags of them all. Gaslighting is not just lying, it's rewriting your reality. You say, "You promised you'd come yesterday." They look you straight in the eye and reply, "No, I didn't. You're imagining things." You know you heard it, you know you saw the message, but somehow their tone, their confidence, their insistence makes you hesitate. Maybe I did misunderstand. Maybe I am overreacting. That's the trap. Gaslighting is a slow dismantling of your certainty. It makes you question your memory, your perception, even your sanity. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. You start relying on them to tell you what's true. They rewrite history in small ways. "I never said that. You're just too sensitive." Happened. And piece by piece, your reality becomes theirs. Once someone controls your perception of reality, they control you. They decide what's real and what isn't. They decide how you should feel, what you should believe, what you should remember. That is not love. That is manipulation in its purest, most dangerous form. Love should make you feel secure in your truth, not make you doubt it. 5. Consistent dishonesty. One lie you can overlook. Maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe it was told to spare your feelings. But a pattern of lies? That's not a misunderstanding. That's a foundation built on quicksand. It often starts small. "I'm on my way," they text when they haven't even left the house. "I didn't talk to them," they insist, when you've seen the proof with your own eyes. At first, you brush it off. It's just a small thing, you tell yourself. But over time, those small things pile up until you can no longer tell where the truth ends and the lies begin. And here's the danger. Habitual lying doesn't just make you doubt them, it makes you doubt yourself. You start second-guessing what you know. You question your instincts. Trust isn't optional in love. It's the air the relationship breathes. Without it, everything suffocates. And when trust is gone, love stops being love. What's left is a performance, both of you playing roles, smiling on the outside while suspicion eats away inside. Love cannot thrive in lies, because lies are termites. And given enough time, they will hollow out even the strongest heart. 6. Blaming you for everything. In their story, you are always the villain. If they forgot your birthday, it's not because they didn't care. It's because you didn't remind them. If they lashed out in anger, it's because you provoked them. If they cheated, it's because you made them feel unloved. Every wrong they commit somehow circles back to you. At first, you might argue. You defend yourself. You bring evidence. You remind them of what really happened. But slowly, you notice something: they never take responsibility. Not for the small things, not for the big things. And over time, you stop fighting back. You start wondering, maybe it is me. Maybe I really am the problem. That's the poison of constant blame. It reshapes your self-image. It takes away your confidence. It convinces you that you are the cause of every storm, even the ones they created. In a healthy relationship, both people own their mistakes. They say, "I'm sorry." They try to do better. In a toxic relationship, one person carries all the guilt, all the fault, and it's always you. Love is not about keeping score, but if every point is stacked against you, you're not in love, you're in a trial where the verdict was decided before you ever walked in. 7. Lack of empathy. Love isn't just about showing up for the smiles, it's about staying for the tears. But with them, your pain feels invisible. You cry, and they roll their eyes. You try to explain what's hurting you, and they say, "You're overreacting." Something important happens in your life, good or bad, and their reaction feels empty. They don't celebrate your victories. They don't sit with you in your lows. They treat your emotions like an inconvenience, and it cuts deep because love is supposed to be your safe place, the arms you run to when the world feels cold. Lack of empathy turns that safe place into a lonely space. You begin to stop sharing altogether because what's the point? Your heart becomes quieter. Your spirit feels smaller. Over time, you find yourself editing your emotions. You smile when you don't feel like it. You laugh so they won't call you too sensitive. You shrink your sadness so they don't get bothered. But love that can't sit with your pain isn't love at all. A healthy relationship says, I may not fully understand what you're feeling, but I care enough to try. Anything less is not partnership, it's coexistence. And coexistence is not enough for a heart that longs to be understood. 8. Excessive jealousy. A little jealousy? That's human. It can even feel flattering, proof that they care, that they want you. But excessive irrational jealousy, that's not love. That's a ticking time bomb. It starts with small questioning glances. Who were you texting? Why did you smile at that waiter? Where exactly were you? At first you laugh it off, they're just being playful. But then, it escalates. They start accusing you without reason, checking your phone without permission, picking apart every interaction you have, even with people you've known for years. No amount of reassurance is ever enough. You can account for every minute of your day and still be met with suspicion. And here's the truth, excessive jealousy isn't about protecting love, it's about controlling it. It's about planting doubt, about making you feel guilty for simply existing in the world without them. Over time, it isolates you. You see your friends less. You keep your conversations shorter. You stop engaging with people just to avoid another interrogation. This isn't protection. It's insecurity with a knife in its hand, and it will cut your freedom to shreds if you let it. Real love trusts, and without trust, jealousy is just fear, dressed up as devotion. Ignoring red flags doesn't just hurt your relationship, it rewires your mind. It teaches you to accept less, it chips away at your self-esteem, and worst of all, it convinces you that this is normal. But love, real love, never leaves you walking on eggshells. Acknowledging. Don't excuse them away. Communicate. Sometimes people aren't aware, but if they care, they'll listen and adjust. Boundaries, and keep them. Boundaries without enforcement are just suggestions. Seek help from friends, family, or a counselor. Be willing to walk away. Love should never cost you your peace. If you remember nothing else from today, remember this. Love is not proven by how much pain you can endure. Love is proven by how safe you feel when you're with someone. Don't ignore the signs, because the little things you excuse today will be the big heartbreak you cry over tomorrow. Have you ever experienced any of these red flags? Share your story in the comments. Your words might save someone else's heart. And if you found value here, subscribe, because next time we're going even deeper. And I promise, you'll never see relationships the same way again.